We'll see if I can get through this without saying the wrong festival name for the whole thing.
You're gonna say Highweed Power like a couple of times for sure.
Something is gonna happen. Yeah. Sup Nerds, and welcome to Powerful, the power metal podcast. My name is Kyle, and I'm joined by my friend Fernando.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast.
As we are bringing you a bit more powerful, because I did the thing. I went on a trip. This is another travelogue episode, boys, because we got more power metal festivals popping up, and you know me, I just gotta go. I gotta do it.
Gotta do it, and it's great to have more. And it's great that Kyle can go to them, at least in the context of the North America, I guess, the Northern Hemisphere.
Yep, the North America power metal scene is still doing everything it can to survive in the wacky world of 2025.
Yeah.
And this time I went to Denver, Colorado, the Mile High City for Mile High Power Fest, the, I believe, second iteration of this festival. Now, I'm pretty sure, like, if we rewind the clock like years ago, when I was bitching about flying across the country to go to festivals, I'm like, man, there should be a power metal festival in like Denver. That's pretty easily accessible for everybody. And now here we are. They actually did it. So it all worked out.
What a time to be alive. That's great. I gotta say,
yep.
I had no idea where Denver was when we were talking about this and we were talking about your trip. I looked it up. This is a new place in the map for me to look at, and it's really close to the geographical center of the US, so it makes sense that it's more accessible from around town, because we know that flying into other areas of where the other festivals are, it's quite tricky and not as direct.
Colorado is where South Park is, so just think South Park when you think of this.
You know, and I told you this before, but for a long while, I just assumed that South Park took place in Canada just because there was snow in it. And also, I am surprised. Like, I understand this because it's high altitude. Because otherwise, the latitude where it is, with being a snowy place, that just doesn't compute for me.
There's a gigantic mountain range.
Yeah,
in the middle of the country.
Yeah, that's the key detail. But I wouldn't have known it because I didn't know what it was actually geographically. It was just a concept. And now this is learning with power metal.
Yes, learning with power metal. It's educational, folks. And what better way to kick this off than, you know, let's get into these bands. So the first several bands at the festival, I was shocked to learn, are all from Denver, Colorado. So, like, it's like having a whole bunch of local openers and, like, celebrating the local Denver scene. I am shocked that any power adjacent festival is able to get this many local bands. I guess Denver has a poppin' melodic metal scene. Ain't that cool?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yep. So, first up was Signs of Tranquility. This is a, like, symphonic melodic metal band that I think was a pretty solid opener. I will say they do kind of suffer from the problem that I think a lot of these symphonic bands suffer from, where when they play live, so much of the, like, interesting part of their music is on the backing track, and it gets really drowned out by all the drums and the guitar and yada yada yada. And the guitars for this one were, I'll say, a little chuggy for my taste. I think I was most impressed with their vocalist, Azura Onessa. Hopefully I'm saying that right. She had a nice voice and, like, a charming, like, almost like goofy stage presence, but it was fun to watch. She's also really freaking tall. It just kind of makes her naturally imposing on stage, but
that's
very
cool.
Solid opening band, I'd say. Yeah, especially compared to, so you've got this, like, over 6 foot tall person standing next to their bassist who's 5 feet up tall on a good day, which is like,
I know the struggle.
It makes for an interesting
I know the struggle. Look up,
yeah. But you, as a tall person, you've probably dealt with similar problems before, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a problem when staging your band, your stage presence. Like, because if someone is significantly taller than everyone else, then it impacts the whole how people see you. So usually you try to put the tall people in the back and stuff like that.
You can't.
But
You can't do that when the tall person is the literal front person.
Yeah. There's no winning. But it's
attention grabbing. So hey, it works.
Yeah, for sure.
So what was interesting, going from this band, which in terms of just like presentation was, I'll say, just kind of standard. We're wearing black. We're a metal band. Minimalism, to the next band, Viperwitch, which I'll say is maximal presentation. They're doing the like pretty quick changeover for this festival, and I see these dudes with like a mixture of aesthetics. We'll say of like leather daddy, like body paint, lots of tattoos, like a scale mail bikini. We got like leopard print stuff going on. Just anything and everything is going with the band Viperwitch. And I was like, wow, these guys better really bring it for how aggressive of an image they have. And then while they're coming out on stage, I noticed one of them has a sword. And I'm like, oh, yes, this is automatically a real metal band. And then it lights up. They have like a custom sword with like lights on it, which they're like swinging around and like knighting people with during the first song. I'm like, so Viperwitch killed it on the presentation.
Nice.
I gotta say.
Nice. This sounds incredible.
And for like a pretty like newish band to really have this all like really dialed in, like I was pretty impressed. Viperwitch themselves are playing like pretty much like new wave of traditional heavy metal. I think they call themselves as having like a touch of synthwave to it, which I definitely did not pick up any of during the live set, unless I'm getting my bands mixed up. But yeah, very much a trad metal band, very aggressive, shredding and riffing. I was pretty impressed with these guys. Unfortunately, I think the first couple bands in particular, the like mixing in the venue was not dialed in, and it was kind of hard to discern all of the bits and pieces. You know, and I tried moving to like various parts of the venue because not a very big place to really nail down like where like the best place to stand would be, and there kind of wasn't a best place. Ouch. So I do think these first couple bands did suffer a bit from that, so I wasn't able to like fully appreciate what all they were putting down. So I definitely need to listen to Viperwitch's studio stuff because I was just so like blown away with their overall presentation that I'm like, I really want to hear every bit of this. But they were very entertaining, so I got to give them that one.
Cool, very cool. So these guys were local. These two bands, local.
The first four bands are all local to Denver.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Nice.
Following it up with a name that might sound familiar, Oak, Ash, and Thorn.
I do know.
Not to be confused with the Dark Forest album or the Fellowship song. No, this is Oak, Ash, and Thorn, a band that we were supposed to see last year at Mad with Power, but couldn't see due to scheduling conflicts with one of our interviews. So I was like, oh man, redemption. I get to actually see Oak, Ash, and Thorn this time. And I was excited to. And they play some pretty darn good melodic death metal. There's like a little tinge of folk metal in there, just a little bit, not nearly as much as as something like Dark Forest. But these guys put on a pretty good show. Their lead vocalist is again like a pretty big dude and very striking stage presence. So I was impressed with him as well.
Nice.
Do you remember when Oak, Ash, and Thorn were playing at Mad with Power? And I'm like, wow, Fernando, how could you do this to me? You made me miss a band at Mad with Power.
Yes.
When am I ever going to get the chance again? But boom, a year later, we've got the redemption arc. Yeah.
I know. I knew you would have. Like, unless the band exploded, why wouldn't you catch them again? Come on.
Of course.
No confidence on the scene.
The scene is only so big, so it was bound to happen eventually.
Oh, that's cool. You made it. You made it.
Yes. And so this whole festival, you know, it was a long day. There's 9 bands, but it kind of flies by with the first few bands only having like half an hour long sets, and then like 20-minute or even 15-minute, I think, is on some of the schedule changeovers. And to their credit, the whole thing ran on time. Hardly any like technical like hiccups as far as I could tell.
Incredible.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the efficiency of all this. Makes for a pretty exhausting day. to go through 9 bands. I probably should have taken notes on some of these just to make sure I kept it all down. Like I know I started doing notes for Prog Power because it's because that's just so much, and definitely makes recording these episodes easier when I have that. But I was just going in on it this time. As for the whole festival experience this time, I was in a group of 4 basically, where I was with one of the guys who's kind of like a regular at these festivals, and he brought a couple of friends along who I guess you could say were power metal curious and so were new to this whole ordeal. It was interesting getting their perspective on the whole like niche power metal festival thing. Getting just some people who are definitely nerds but haven't gotten into this whole side of nerddom yet. I'm like, you guys are the perfect like target audience for expanding the metal outreach here,
Mm-hmm.
And the venue also has this or at least the festival has this deal where you can buy like a 4-pack of tickets, and it also like reserves you like a table and chairs kind of like off to the side of the venue.
Fancy.
They're not fancy tables and chairs, but it is something.
It's chairs.
Yes.
That is a lot for me. I would never assume to have a chair on a metal festival. That's
It's just a tiny theater. But this came in handy for, a long day. Just, during the like 15-minute changeover, just grab a quick seat, grab an overpriced can of water, and, sustain yourself for the whole rest of the thing. It's not like Prog Power where like literally the whole thing, there's chairs for everybody. But, I guess you could put it more like Mad with Power where it's like, yes, there's a handful of chairs, but, it's exclusive to the, people paying up for it.
Mm-hmm.
Then that brings us into the 4th of the Denver bands, this one being Celestial Wizard, who, if I'm correct about this, I believe are also basically the host band. I think it's some members of their band or someone adjacent to the band who basically is the reason this festival exists.
Oh.
They don't have... It doesn't seem... The festival itself, I'll say, is very no frills. There's no MC, there's no... there isn't much like in terms of like extra events or extra personality to it. It is very much just like, here is a venue and a whole hell of a lot of bands are playing there. It doesn't have like a Ty or a Glenn who's like, the front facing main person, I guess, getting up on stage and doing all this stuff. I don't mean that as like a knock against it. It's just I feel like this festival doesn't yet have like its identity yet. But it's brand new, so they're still getting going with it all.
It doesn't have like a main personality you can latch onto for the fest like those other ones have, which I think is more normal though. Like that's probably a newer style of festivals to have it like all represented by a single personality. I think that's a newer style.
I don't think like the stuff with like Glenn or Ty was strictly planned to be that way. It's just like they're the ones whose like force of will is making this thing happen.
Yeah, but it's two things.
So just kind of become the public face.
It's 2 things because you can be the person who is the main driver to make it all happen, but that doesn't mean you are an outwardly public person that will talk about it and present yourself as such. You have to have both things for that to happen.
So as far as the like the culture of the festival is, I'm kind of jumping ahead a bit here. How we usually talk about like doing like after parties at these festivals and whatnot. At one point, I think it's during the Empress set, they announced that there's going to be an after party at this brewery. There's like an official Power Glove beer that's going to be there too. And I'm like, oh hey, that sounds cool. We should probably check it out afterwards. I assumed this brewery would be like down the street. It's like, oh, it's Denver. They have a ton of breweries. And no, it's like several miles away on the other side of town. And so it's like, oh shit. And the guys I was with had a long drive back to Colorado Springs, so they didn't want to go out of their way to the complete opposite side of Denver before getting their return drive on. So I did not get to experience the after party at this one, unfortunately. But maybe some other time. And hopefully at a more easily accessible, let's just immediately roll on over there type of thing.
Yeah, I get it. I get the annoyance if it's local, but no, not really.
Yeah. As for Celestial Wizard themselves, pretty solid band. There's sort of a mixture of like I'd say like mellow death and trad metal, almost more like trad metal with harsh vocals. They pretty entertaining. I gotta say, my main disappointment with them, they didn't have the guy doing the Heelys like they did at Mad with Power last year, and that was the best part and like the most charming thing I've ever seen on stage. And I'm like, come on, guys, what are you doing? That's like the whole best part. But they are a solid band, so happy to see them again.
Yeah.
And after Celestial Wizard, we get into Greyhawk. And this is a point where I think I would call it a turning point in just the overall level of musicianship and showmanship and just overall, like, all right, you can tell that these are the more well-regarded bands, the bands with more experience, not just one album and a handful of live shows. Like, no, these are people who have been at this and doing it for a while. And the, like, power metal newbies that I was with definitely agree that, like, once Greyhawk came on, like, oh shit, these guys really rock. This really fucking shreds now. And I think in terms of stage presence, Greyhawk might have been the best. Or I up there with Glyph too, but wow, it's almost like they have the same people. Oh my god. But in terms of just like the band members are, you know, they're all coordinated. Nobody just looks like they're off in their own world. They're interacting with each other, interacting with the crowd. This is where it comes together. It's like, it's not just people on stage playing music. It is musicians putting on a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where I kind of like start to draw the distinction on like levels of where your band is at with live performance.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Greyhawk had a new singer that since the Mad with Power show with him a little while back, but this guy was very good. I was definitely impressed with him.
Awesome.
Probably the hypest moment of the whole festival was during the Greyhawk show, where their very, very large bassist, our buddy Darren, he performs what he calls the sacrifice of steel, where he has the gods of metal bless the festival, where he takes an actual like steel bar, bites it in his mouth with with a shirt wrapped around it, and then just through sheer strength bends it down into like a U shape.
That's incredible.
Which is like, wow, this is metal as fuck. And it's like, is it just like a stupid stage gimmick? Maybe. But does it totally work? You bet your ass it does.
Nah, that's cool. That's great. That's great.
Because like when he starts, he hands off his bass to the singer, and the singer is like kind of like slowly playing the bass in the background. I'm like, the fuck are they doing? And he goes with the mic's like, yeah, we're gonna bless this festival with a sacrifice of steel. I'm like, oh shit. I heard someone say they had the bent steel bar at their merch table later. I don't know if they actually sold it. They should sign it and definitely sell it. That is a phenomenal merch item.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could take it on a plane, but give it to maybe a local festival goer.
But since it's for the festival, it's a sacrifice for blessing the festival. It should,
exactly.
Either the festival organizer should keep it for all and bring it on display for all future iterations of the festival, or it should be encased as a trophy for the venue. At least
become like a mascot or something, just a bent piece of metal.
Just put some googly eyes on it, and that's your personality. That's
we're onto something here.
Yeah, maybe.
See, they need to call us up.
Yeah, clearly we are the marketing good ones. We are the marketing people to call.
We are so good at marketing, dude. Oh my god,
miles ahead. We're so far ahead of the game. Nobody has even heard of it.
Miles ahead of Mile High.
That's so cool.
It was unfortunate that there was no random guy dressed as a wizard to have a wizard pit during this set. They do play "Don't Wait for the Wizard Is You," which is a super fun song. Although there was very little moshing at this festival in general, even by like American power metal show standards, I would say. There was one band where I would say, an honest to God, pit broke out, but we'll talk about that later.
All right.
After Greyhawk, next up was Empress, a symphonic power metal band from, I believe, the Pennsylvania, Philly area. The first band with Barbara Blackthorne on vocals, and she is really good live. She's a fantastic vocalist. Empress, I'm also pretty happy with. They are like a symphonic power metal band, but they don't fall into the trap that so many other symphonic bands do of just having like the guitars actually be really boring. Their guitars are actually doing interesting stuff throughout their songs. They have some cool solos, great melodies, great choruses. Empress also has a new album coming out, I think they said next year, which they played a new track from, and it was sounding pretty good to me. So that is definitely one I'll be looking forward to.
Nice. I gotta say, because you mentioned the whole get up that Viperwitch had, but Barbara's outfit for Empress is
Barbara
really
had
cool looking.
Yeah, she came out with this like fancy like armor sort of outfit with like these like big like shoulder pauldrons.
Yeah.
Which she actually like took those off like halfway through. I'm guessing they were like
maybe they were
rough in some way.
Maybe they were annoying.
But they looked cool.
Use, but they look cool.
It definitely looks cool, and if they can sort that out to be a sustainable on-stage practice, they definitely should.
Yeah,
it's a cool look.
There's always that struggle, right? Like the idea looks super cool, you try it on and it looks super cool, but then you have to perform in it, and that usually is where all the adjustments come in. But it looks very cool.
Yeah,
very, very cool.
It's like when people are doing like try to do like a cosplay or like a superhero outfit.
Yeah, it's exactly
and
that.
Like, oh, you can't really do this for like a movie because it's not a practical outfit. You can't move in it or actually do things for a sustained period of time.
Yeah, but it looks very cool.
It does look very cool. Doing anything for a sustained period of time, I think in Denver is harder because you got the elevation making it harder to breathe, or making you think that it's harder to breathe.
Did you feel that? Did you feel that at all?
Well, that's the thing. It's like I don't know how much of it is like me tricking myself into thinking I'm thinking it.
Okay.
So it's like, am I getting? I am out of shape, or am I getting tired sooner? Hard to say.
How? Because I get it. It is known for being a high place, right? But how much?
Like Mile High isn't like a joke. I think it is more or less literal.
Yeah, I see. It's 1.6 kilometers. It is actually a mile. Official elevation is 1 mile.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some fudging the numbers there to get it officially there, but close enough.
But it's enough because it's obviously an average, and you measure it against the sea level or whatever. But yeah, that makes sense. I don't think I've ever been in a place that high. Because
what about when you were in Japan? You went up on some mountains there, didn't you?
No, I didn't go to like a. It was a mountain, but it wasn't like a true mountain. I have no idea. I never felt out of breath at all. Like we went up a little cable car, but it wasn't like half an hour of cable cars. It was just a little bit. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think the highest city, or one of the higher cities I've been to, is Bogota.
Yeah, I was thinking that, which is went there. Yeah, Bogota is known
it was
for
more
being
noticeable.
higher.
Yeah, it's noticeable in Bogota compared to Denver. I'll definitely say
because in Bogota, it's actually
twice as high.
It's actually known that when the football teams play there, everyone is at a disadvantage because the local teams are used to playing in altitude, so their bodies are more efficient, and everyone that's a visiting team cannot breathe.
I would do it. As I think it was Barbara who made a comment about the elevation. So maybe I'm not crazy. Maybe
it was a thing. Yeah. And if you felt it, it was probably a thing. If you think you felt it,
it's just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah, because it's not like you were running around more than just for the show. So it would be surprising if it actually affected you too hard. Anyways.
Anyway, and I'm just standing there headbanging. I'm not doing anything super intense.
Yeah, it's not like cardio day.
Exactly. All right, then next up, we're bringing it around with Owlbear, a very shreddy power metal band from the internet, as they say, because their members are from pretty much all over the place. Now, we saw Owlbear at Mad with Power, And their vocalist, Katie Scary, continues to have the best stage banter of any band I've ever seen.
That's so awesome. Yeah.
With her, we'll say, crass sense of humor and sense of like exasperation about how goddamn nerdy all of these songs really are. Because whoever writes their lyrics is going for like some deeper cuts with like really old like Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy games. They got Record of Lodoss War. They I think they said the Silmarillion's in there. So they're going for all the nerdy shit on top of like the obvious with like D&D type of stuff with hence the name. But Owlbear continues to be just a completely awesome band to see live. Their songs are just so shreddy, so fast. They're really good at just like building up hype between sections, really getting the people going. It's provocative, as they say. I would like pretty much call them like a must-see if they are doing shows near you. I think they've been hitting some more of the like gaming and anime convention type of stuff. I think Katie mentioned that one of the last shows they did was an anime convention, and of course is making jokes about the anime nerds, because of course you're gonna make jokes about the anime nerds, right?
Of course.
So definitely highly recommend Owlbear. Like, I think they're a band who's kind of had like a almost like unexpected level of success of just being like some internet nerds making music together and then doing like a handful of live shows that have gone, or at least been better received than maybe anticipated. I don't think they've done like full-on tours yet, but they seem to always be very well received at these
that's
random
the key
events
thing
that they come across.
That's the key thing. They are really good live. So
yes,
that's what matters. That's the differentiator to anything else. They play a handful of live shows and they are absolutely great. That's the winning formula. They start, obviously, it's the start of that ramp up. As you say, they are not touring or anything consistently yet, it seems. But those live shows are great. And that's a lot. That's a lot for this genre.
When you need that like real grassroots word of mouth type of just like organic growth, this is the way to do it. Because like it's hard to take away anything other than like, holy shit, this is a hell of a show away from something like this. And then you want to go and tell everybody like I'm doing now.
Exactly.
All right. Now I talked before about like Greyhawk having some of the best stage presence, and then Barbara, a really great vocalist. What if we put those two things together?
Yeah, essentially the super group of the night.
Yeah. Basically like the hot new super group Glyph coming on pretty late into the evening here. Now, when I talked about some of the newcomers to the genre that we were with, and they had said like, oh yeah, I think Greyhawk and Empress have been my favorites so far. I'm like, buddy, imagine if we put those two bands together. And then it is really amazing just how good on stage Glyph are. Like I really can't understate that enough. Just how tight every aspect of the performance is, how every band member is so involved. They're all doing vocals, they're all hyping each other up. Nobody's just like standing off in the corner bobbing their head or whatever. Like, no, every ounce of this performance feels calculated to be just a really sick, awesome time. I do need to give credit for we're 8 bands deep now. This is the first band to have a live keyboardist. So thank you, Jeff, and your keytar. I am forever grateful to you, because it is just, it's always cool as hell to have a keytar. Am I wrong?
Yes, it's always better. Always a +1. Well, always adds so much to just have the guitars there. And then they obviously, since they are very good at what they do the thing where they are riffing and soloing side by side, guitar with keyboard with guitar and keyboard with bass, and then moving, and it's so it's great, absolutely great. Yeah, and some actually 16th parts playing it. Awesome. Yeah,
and I know you like to talk about how a band can really fill the stage. These are guys, I think more than anyone, absolutely did that at the festival.
Yeah.
I mean, like, hell, for being such a new band, they don't feel like it, because they are also
because they are so experienced.
members.
Yeah, because it is really a super group. It's not a joke. Like this is a group born from people that were already experiencing successful bands before, and several ones. And
you can definitely see why the band really just immediately blew up after going on just like one tour where they have an opening guest slot, and everyone is like, "Oh shit, this is sick as hell." Because they really do just immediately sell you on the whole thing.
Yeah, 100%. It obviously makes all the sense. And it's great to hear every time they make a new show, hearing from people that, they still obviously kick ass more and more. It wasn't just like a weird fluke, which we knew it wasn't. But
I think they definitely even felt even tighter than the Mad with Power performance we saw.
Mm-hmm.
Just
that makes sense.
More time together with this iteration of the band. So
yeah. Nice.
I always love just even like the simple thing of, so I think there's 6 members of the band, all the guitarists and drummers and everything, and all 5 of the non-drummers are up on stage and they have a mic and they're doing backing vocals together, and even just seeing people involved with that, I think just makes a big difference on like the cohesion of the band, on top of when they're like moving their guitars in sync or like going up to each other or whatever it is.
100%.
Everybody's smiling. Everybody's having a great time. I don't mean this in a creepy like, oh, you're prettier when you smile kind of way. I mean just literally like you are on stage putting up a show in a small venue where your vibes will easily radiate out to the crowd who's 10 feet away from you. So just like if you look like you're having a good time, then it helps us have a good time.
Yeah, this is.
And I think other bands are sometimes just like, oh, I'm too preoccupied with shredding. And I'm like, yeah, you're playing demanding, parts, and I respect that. But also, like, if you can get to that next level, it makes all the difference.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, like, this isn't shoegaze. This is this style of music helps a lot to communicate outwardly like that. The cool feelings, the kick-assing of all.
Definitely. So it's like, and I to pay off the foreshadowing from earlier, Glyph was the one band that had a little bit of honest to God pitting during their set. I think it was Defy the Night, which is in my mind their best song. When we finally got a handful of people to start doing it,
nice,
including yours truly. I also involved one of the like power metal new guys that we were with into the pit, just so I could make sure he got his first mosh pit experience.
Nice.
And I think he ran away after that. But, it was a good time for the short amount of time that it was for.
Mm.
Glyph also played a new song from the EP that they're crowdfunding right now, which is also sounding pretty good.
Nice.
I remember when we interviewed them back in the day, they said they were getting like a head start on like material for upcoming albums. Obviously, things have happened since then, but we are happy to see them still trucking along. And I've been debating whether or not I should go to their upcoming tour with Illstorm and Gloryhammer. But man, this was such a good time. That's like,
I don't see why not.
See them again.
Why wouldn't you?
It's a long drive, Fernando.
Okay. But I understand it's a long drive. That is something to consider. That is true. But otherwise, yeah, it's worth seeing them more than once a year, for sure.
Yeah, it's a little obnoxious. The other show on that tour, the Northern California one, is part of the like Aftershock Festival in Sacramento, which is like a much larger like normie metal festival, and it's like fucking like $200 a day to go to.
That's much rougher. If you don't like everything in the bill, that's so much rougher.
And out of the like dozens of bands there's like 3 power metal bands. So I'm like, I don't know about that. I'll stick with my couple hundred people venues.
Yeah.
All right, and then rounding out the evening was Power Glove, like the video game metal band. I think they have like the most legacy influence as far as being like, video game metal nostalgia cover shtick. Because they've been at it since like the late 2000s, I think.
Yeah.
And it's kind of wild to think of like them as like, oh, this is the headliner, just like a covers band. But they really do make a show out of it.
Yes.
Despite only having like 3-ish dudes, one of who's is pulling triple duty on guitars, keyboards, and vocals. It's very impressive to watch. But they also bring in like a guest vocalist to help out on time to time when they're doing like opening theme songs from cartoons and stuff. So they hit a good variety of games here. They've got what was it all? They hit Kirby, they hit Sonic, they hit Mario. It's a lot of like I would say like 90s nostalgia type stuff. One of the fun bits they did was they recently did like a Smash Brothers set of covers. And when they were doing a song from Smash Brothers Melee, they threw like inflatable weapons out into the audience so they could have their own melee.
Okay.
Which is fun. A good bit.
Yeah.
They're also working on like some anime covers. So when they did like a Naruto song, that's when they encouraged the crowd to do a Naruto run circle pit.
Of course.
Which is something I haven't seen before. But if you need to see Naruto run. Not in this context, no. So if you need to warm up for your storming of Area 51, you can go to a Power Glove show.
What did they play? Was it like? Now I gotta ask. Was it?
I assume it was an opening, but I don't know any Naruto songs.
Okay. Yeah,
so
that's fine.
So don't ask me there, man.
Okay.
This is just a weird thing I noticed. So one of the first songs they play is Guile's theme from Street Fighter, and they accompany it with a bunch of like America, Eagles and burgers and type imagery.
Makes sense.
But which they then follow up with like the Tetris theme, which has a bunch of Russian stuff.
Yeah. So
it's like we're doing the Cold War again through video game metal covers. I do. So I've talked about this being like 90s nostalgia, and I want to get into a bit of a tangent here. So other video game like metal bands we've seen will usually be covering, if they do a Sonic song, it'll be from like one of the original like 2D Sonic games. These guys did a bit of a curveball with the opening to the like 90s Sonic cartoon.
Yeah.
If you remember that at all?
Of course I do. Like which one? Hold on. Which of them? I remember all three of them. But which one do you mean? The Saturday morning one? Or the
I don't know.
Adventures of Sonic?
One of them.
Or the one where they are rock stars?
It was the one that I had a VHS of like 1 or 2 episodes on and didn't understand that there was a whole show to it.
There's one where it's just like similar to the game song, and it also has a pum 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 da 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 da. Then there's the one where they play guitar and everything. It's Sonic Underground, which has the Sonic Underground da 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 da. And then there's the other one which is the Saturday morning. The one where there's a plot, an actual plot, which is
I think I want to say that one, but don't.
Yeah, Sonic, he's got an attitude.
Yeah, it was that one.
Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive.
Door number 3.
Yeah,
it was that one.
Cool.
So bear with me here. So I want to talk about what I am now labeling my Sonic the Hedgehog theory of the cycle of nostalgia.
Okay.
Bear with me. I'm making this sound way more important than it is. So what the style of Sonic stuff that I'm nostalgic for is basically like Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Heroes, like the like early 3D games from like early to mid 2000s. So when I'm seeing these bands who are more nostalgic for like the 90s stuff, I'm feeling like it doesn't really appeal to me. But then I think about like, but the movies. The most recent movie from last year, that one was basically adapting Sonic Adventure 2, and they play, live, and learn in it. Spoilers. And I'm like, see, the Hollywood movie is more in touch with my like point of nostalgia than the like video game metal cover bands.
Yes,
which I just thought is like an interesting like point of contrast there.
No, but that lines up with general nostalgia because obviously
exactly
it's the nostalgia comes in cycles, right? And that's for people. And in terms of the movies, what matters is who is putting the money to make the movie, what they will approve to be nostalgic about. And then you cross that with what people would put, people who have money, what's the nostalgia thing for the people that are in their age to have money to take their kids to see the movie.
Exactly.
And if you're referencing 2001 for Sonic Adventure 2, in 2024, 2025. That sort of makes sense already. But if you're referencing 1990 to 93, I think it was, no, 94 or 95 for that animated shows, maybe even later. It's not that old. That is older people. That is, they might not, their kids might be old enough to not go to the Sonic movie, maybe.
Perhaps. My point being, you can use Sonic to explain the cycles of nostalgia.
Yes, of course.
And Power Glove are old and out of touch. They're fucking boomers, okay? Dumbasses.
We just saw the difference in that I knew what song you were talking about and you had no idea.
Exactly.
This is the generational gap right here.
Yeah, from like young millennial to like mid-tier millennial, okay?
I am like the most default, middle of the ground millennial. Millennial? Is that what you say? Damn.
Millennial.
I say millennial.
Like millennium.
Millennial. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Power Glove makes cool stuff. They did the cool Sonic song.
Yes.
Because that is the cool one.
Exactly. So they do put on a very good show, despite having like only 2 guys in front. Although, of more than any band, I'd say their drummer is very involved with like the whole like hype and interacting with the crowd. Nice. Like, I do wish more bands would involve the drummer in the way that they do.
Yeah,
exactly.
More power to the drummer.
Because like when he's like even like standing up at the kit and like being really expressive and like hyping people up, like that comes through, and like he'll talk on a mic in between songs and stuff. Like it's okay for a drummer to not just be like some dude hitting things in the back in the shadows. Like, they're a member of the band too, you know?
Yeah, let them out of the cage.
Just let them out of the cage. Let's see, what else did they hit? Oh, of course they hit the Pokemon theme song, because, you know, you gotta hit the Pokemon theme song. I think that's one of their bigger hits. They tossed out a bunch of, like, Pokeball, beach balls during that too, because, you know, gotta get the crowd going. I feel like the crowd was really shit at keeping them, like, out of, like, the photo pit and the stage. But yeah, we're doing our best.
Nice, fun.
And then they close it out with the Power Rangers theme song.
Yeah,
because everyone likes to shout "Go Go Power Rangers."
It's what's the term? It's on fashion again. Power Rangers are out for Fortnite now, and it's I understand Fortnite now. It worked.
Because you're like, oh, maybe I should play Fortnite. Maybe I should get the Power Rangers.
No, I haven't played it, but I got the ads. Like, oh, the next season is Power Rangers drops, and they made an ad that is actually like filmed, live action, and it's awesome. It's the best piece of Power Ranger content that I've seen in forever. And obviously, it's about the old ones.
It's a fucking Fortnite ad.
No, but it's so good. And then I saw the behind the scenes, and it was done like in the proper way. And it's so cool. And then I started seeing clips of people playing, and now I understand why Fortnite is popular, because I didn't really know. I knew the game, but the game is not important. It's Ready Player One.
It's just a vessel. It's a platform.
It's what Ready Player One was. That's what Fortnite is, because I see people going around with their Power Ranger skin, and then they see someone riding along in this free-for-all game where you're supposed to kill everyone else before the time runs out, and they show up and they have the other Power Ranger skin, and they do something that signals like, hey, I'm not going to shoot you, and they just become friends, and they start doing dances together, and then they find the rest of the squad, and you can play like a little Guitar Hero mini game playing the song, the Power Rangers title song, and it's like, wow. And then someone shows up that is not part of the power, that they have a different skin, so they kill them. And it all makes sense. It all makes sense.
Like, it kind of happened with me. Like, the one time I played Fortnite was when they did like a Metal Gear Solid crossover. And what kind of blew me away with that is like they incorporated like skins and items and stuff from Metal Gear Solid 4, which is a game that basically gets like no acknowledgement, doesn't get like remastered or anything. I'm like, this game is getting more like love and affection from fucking Fortnite than from Konami or Sony. And it's just like, what is Fortnite? This goddamn Hydra that just can consume, but also sort of like elevate all. I don't understand.
It is great. It is actually great. I am much more open to it, more receptive to it. Their thing worked because obviously the people that you capture doing a whole big thing about dropping original Power Rangers today is people my age. Like 100%.
It does raise an interesting question about with nostalgia cycles. Let's look ahead like 20, 25 years in the future when, the Power Glove equivalent is like appealing to the generation of nostalgia for people who are, let's say, like 10 years old right now.
Yeah.
But like those kids are mostly getting exposed to the nostalgia of like people our age. So it's just gonna like Ouroboros itself here. I don't know where
that is the fear. That is the fear that is behind the usual. Oh, all the movies are just sequels and old IPs or whatever. I don't think it's that dire. There's always things.
Yeah.
Right? Because like you still, I think we'll see the cycle when what's the name? Undertale is nostalgic, like fully.
Undertale came out 10 years ago, but
yeah, but
so
10 years
it's on its way.
Yeah, but I'm talking about 30, 35, right? 25, 30.
Yeah.
Which is the Power Rangers came out in 94. So it's 20 years. So we'll see that first for sure. I think Minecraft will have it later with the movie that came out recently. But then the thing is that we, in our age group, will be more and more out of touch with what the 10-year-olds are experiencing now. So we won't know until we see the nostalgia cycle what it was, right? Because we're out of it. That's just how it is. And especially now with less and less big mainstream things that everyone hears about, but with bigger niches, if we are not inside a niche, we won't know what actually will make it to be the new next nostalgia cycle for that group of people. Maybe nostalgia will be just more isolated in more smaller chunks of society instead of being this widespread worldwide thing that everyone knows about. Because Power Rangers, when it came out, was a worldwide thing that turned the populace, well, maybe not worldwide, the Western world, obviously, upside down, and everyone had heard about it. That's why now it works for a lot of people that only watched a couple episodes when they were kids. But that's like most of the population that are between 30 and 45 today. And maybe that won't happen that way. Yeah, this is too much for this travel blog. As we
get existential.
Yeah.
Our silly little metal travel blog.
Yeah. This is your fault. You brought it up.
I told you it was going to be a tangent.
Yes. Tangent and a half, which is always fun, obviously.
All right.
Obviously.
Well, another little thing about the festival I do want to bring up, because this is important, okay? There is no dinner break at the festival.
Yeah.
And all of the bands I was like most excited to see are like right around the time I normally eat dinner. But we were strategic here. We ordered pizza at the start. I think it was the start of Empress's set. And by the time we had it delivered to the venue, it got there at the end of Empress's set. So we have the whole like little bit there, just a wolf down pizza. That was just delivered to the venue.
Genius.
They didn't have food there.
Absolutely genius.
And so we're being bougie and having your table also paid off because it made it just the eating process there easier.
Incredible. Well done.
This is Experience Festival Goer Tips.
Yeah.
This is what you come to Powerful for, ladies and gentlemen. That and dissertations on nostalgia.
Yeah. How to survive a fest day and what are the implications of aging in media.
Exactly.
Go hand in hand. That is great. That is great that you managed that. I don't like that I still think, and I will remain on this cap for a long while, that having a dinner break is an absolute like godsend that doesn't happen. That is just a very special thing that only happens at very specific places. When they say it, it is a welcome gift, never to be taken for granted. Never assume a festival will have it. Don't expect it. because
No,
for
I know.
99% of festivals is completely unsustainable.
Yeah, I know. Like literally all the other like things I've been to don't have it. It's only Mad with Power.
Yeah, I know, but
And
I
they
just
did it as a part of like user feedback.
I say
But it worked, and
I
it's
know
awesome.
it works. It works and it's awesome. But I say it because of your initial wording with this story, which was, "Oh, Mile High Power Fest does not have a dinner break." Of course, it doesn't have it.
I know, of course it doesn't. But like, come on, guys! Like, it's already mile high with power. All these fans are just once you played Mad with Power. There's the connections there. They don't have like a fucking patent on the dinner break. Share it with the masses, with the people. We demand it. Just saying, bro.
Oh man.
See, I'm trying to push for the world we could have, and not just the world that we do have, Fernando.
I know. That's...
We're not all so cynical.
No, I'm not cynical. I am realistic. I'm realistic.
That's what every cynic says.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. You know that's not true. Come on. I'm helping. I try to help make all these scenes better as well, just like you. And if we can have dinner break gaps in all festivals as a cultural norm, that would be great. But that is very taxing economically, let's say.
Yeah, because that's time that could be spent with a band.
Yes,
that would be money. And
you're paying for the venue time, and it's that you have to take a lot of things into account. Anyways,
but so to wrap up the festival as a whole, I'll say overall I had a very good time. It's exhausting to have 9 bands all squeezed into one afternoon here, but I enjoyed all of them. I think if I had to say like some real like standouts to me, I think Owlbear and Glyph probably my favorites. Greyhawk also up there too. So if those are the ones that you really ever get a chance to check out, definitely do that. As for the festival in general, if you like the power metal and adjacent stuff, it's a good time. Like it's like I said, no frills, pretty simple. Just get in there, boom, have some metal. And there's a purity to that I can also respect. Nice. I don't know where things go from here. I don't think they've announced a next one. They didn't like have a video announcing a lineup or anything. I think they might have financial troubles. We will see where this all ends up. But I think the uncertain state of literally every festival is part of what's like pushing like me and some friends to just like go to all the ones that we can to do what we can to enjoy power metal as just the losers in America here. Yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully that's good and it can stay yearly thing and more festivals and everything. And if it's an option, I know that some people might think, oh, this is the same lineup of as Mad with Power. Well, maybe one of the 2 festivals is easier for you to get to and it's more accessible. So that's good. It's not bad. If you can't make it to one, maybe you can make it to the other. Yeah. So it's okay to have these, bits of overlap here. Yeah, it's not really a bad thing. Not everyone's just a, fucking weirdo like me just going to all of them. Yeah. Yeah, we don't want... But we do have other festivals popping up. There's a Grill Fest, I believe, is popping up in the Salt Lake area. Ooh. I think that's the Judicator guys. I think it's like one that they used to do like forever ago and then stopped, but are bringing back, I think is the deal with that. And then there's also Southwest Power Fest in El Paso. That's getting going. Nice. Both of these with some pretty fresh bands as well. I don't think I'm gonna be able to go to those. I'm sorry, but maybe someday. Yeah, maybe someday. But it's good. It's good. And we got fucking Prog Powers in like 2 weeks. So Prog Powers in like 2 weeks. Another episode of this was my warm up for Prog Power was this one here. You have a real festival season this year, Kyle. Like it's all traveling, all nonstop. Yeah, so it was with festival. I guess is June, August, September, and then October, November, December. I'm looking at doing individual tours and shows and one-offs there. Yeah, more. So festival season into tour season. Nice. And that's it. That was Mile High Power Fest trip
with Mr. Kyle as usual. And I forget, I should write down what we should say at the end of episodes. But you guys know we have a Patreon. That Patreon doesn't really fund the trips right now. But
that's my actual job that funds the trips.
Yeah,
the Patreon pays for the podcast.
The Patreon pays for the podcast hosting. We're not just burning through your money, but it keeps the lights on. It keeps it around in all the apps where you're probably listening to right now. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment. We will probably reply if it's worth replying to, and it's nice to leave a comment. If you are in one of those where you can rate, do it. That's what people say on podcasts, so I assume it helps. And I will repeat it. And again, if you like what we do, if you enjoy listening to our voices yapping about, and you have an extra little dollar, you can put it on the Patreon. It is very appreciated, but not mandatory. And that's it. We'll have another episode soon.
You too can fund Fernando figuring out how to end a podcast after several years.
Yes, one day I will know about this, but I think that day will mean this is less cute. Stay powerful, people.
Stay powerful.